is up, guys? What is up? This is Love for GTs and Guns. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel and hanging out with me while we talk about Sig Sauer. And I'm sure you guys have already seen a bunch of videos popping up in your feed, on your timeline, or whatever. And we're going to talk about it a little bit here. We're going to get into some of the products that Sig just dropped in the Sig Next 2025 launch that they just did. And the one that's the most notable, that I am the most excited about, I did a video about this a while back, just saying that there's rumor that Sig was going to drop a 2011, and they finally did it. I'm happy it's here, and now we're going to talk about it. Oh my gosh, look at my screen. This thing is beautiful. Look at this gun. So let's just scroll down here, man. If you guys want to, view all the details and look at some of the other products, you're welcome to do so. We're going to touch on a couple of them here, and then, we're not going to go into details on all this stuff. Video will be way too long. The main one I want to focus on is the one that we're going to talk about. We're going to start out with, and that is the P211 GTO, which is the 2011 envisioned by Sig Sauer. So overall, I just like the aesthetics of this gun. It looks really good. I like the way it looks, and I'm sure that's subjective. Some people may not like it, especially the Sig haters. They're gonna, drop a few comments talking about P320s and going off and all that stuff. I have my own personal opinions about that. We're not gonna get into that in this video. But at the end of the day, this is not a P320. So let's get into it. It comes with a comp on the front. Now, this comp, from the videos I've seen, works really good. This gun shoots really, really flat. I mean, staccato XC flat. This comp is supposed to redirect gases down into like some baffles or something, and then release the gases out, reducing recoil by like 30%. The way that they designed this compensator is kind of similar to what Radiant Ramjet does. So overall, the look, the look is really cool, but functionality is what matters most when you're talking about compensators. And it seems to actually do the job really well. Functions good. I don't know if we're going to get into a shooting video on this video. This is mostly just talk about the product line. This is a blow up of the gun, kind of, expanded out. And you can see the 4.4-inch bull barrel there, which has the locking piece at the front where it locks into the compensator. And one thing that I really do like is that not only do they give you the compensator on the gun, but it also comes with the, I forgot what it's called, but it takes the place of the compensator at the front, and it's for the guys who run limited optics or whatever, where you can't have the compensator. It replaces that piece in place of it, so that you don't have the comp, but you still get the benefit of having the bull barrel and all of that. So moving from there, this gun is all metal. It's not polymer. So I do appreciate that. And one of the main features is that it takes P320 mags. No more of the 1911 double stack magazines, even though they've become pretty reliable and great at this point. I mean, they're the old issue that they had with them back in the STI game, where they were unreliable and all that stuff. That's no longer a real big issue. They've tuned the mags to this point where they actually work pretty good. So moving past that, though, we definitely want options, right? So the only other only other company that came out with a 2011-ish, and I say that in quotations because I know staccato, whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about. The only other company that came out with a 1911 double stack that uses P320 mags is OA Defense. And I'll touch on this real quick and then we'll move on. OA Defense did lead the market with, dropping it with the P320 mags. And I think that gun is really nice, shoots well. I love the feel of it. It's cool. The only reason I personally did not jump on it and grab one is the value proposition. To me, it wasn't the best for what the gun was, even though I think it's a good gun. But aesthetically, that's the most important thing to me. Aesthetics matter, and aesthetically, OA defense is just that gun's really not that beautiful. But it is. I mean, it's a nice gun. It looks cool. It definitely looks different. But it's not my thing personally. But OA, if you're listening, send me one. Change my mind. I'm down. But anyway, moving back to the P211 GTO. I really like what they did with the gun overall. They could have, jazzed it up a little bit and, got a little more creative with the serrations on the slide, and made it, give it a little flair, but they didn't. They kind of kept it simple, which is cool. Simple is good, and you don't want to, alienate a market by doing too much with the gun, especially on launch. So I get it. Talking about these serrations, one thing that I do really like is that if you look at the way that these serrations are, they go all the way over the top, and they're pretty deep. So if you press check-in or wrecking a slide more traditional way, I mean, overall, they got you, man. Another thing is, if you notice, this thing has ambi thumb safeties, always a plus. And not only that, but the slide stop. The slide stop is also ambi. So for you lefties, see, thought about you guys, they looked out for you. You're good to go. It does have a grip safety. Personally, I wish they would have omitted the grip safety, pinned it, or whatever. I don't want a grip safety, man. We don't need grip safeties anymore. There are already thumb safeties, and talking about safety, that's another thing that SIG did. For all those guys who are worried about 2011s, 1911s not being drop safe, they looked out for you guys on that too. So the P211 does have a firing pin block. So if you're worried about, not carrying because it's drop safe or not using it for whatever purpose, it does have a firing pin block. So there's that added safety there. That hammer is really nice, skeletonized, just like the trigger. Again, everything's metal on here. This gun comes with 123 round P320 mag and 221 round P320 mag. So taking care of you on capacity there. It is optic ready, of course. They do have one version that you can purchase that does come with the optic, and this is the new SIG optic. I don't know the name of it. I'm not gonna go look it up, but you guys are welcome to do that on your own time. But it does. There is a version that comes with the optic if you wanted to include it. Now, the way that this optic is designed on here, it sits really low, and it is coat witnessing with the sights on the gun. So if we just look overall, man, they did a good job on this gun. I love the way it looks. I like the fact that they made a full-length dust cover. Forget about the nostalgia and trying to appease the old FUDs. I'm kind of a FUD, but not that much of a FUD. But I love the fact that they went with a full-length dust cover. We definitely need full-length dust covers. All right? Stop with the short dust covers that stop halfway up the slide and all of that. It looks weird, man. I mean, just full-length dust covers, guys. Everybody listening, full-length dust covers. The grip texture on the grip looks really good. They have the front and rear texturing as well. What else do we want to look at? Comes with a 4.4 inch bull barrel. Picatinny rail, of course. Gotta have that to let you guys run your lights and whatever, tactical stuff that you want to run on your gun. I'm sure I missed some stuff, but this is not a full detail review or anything like that, because of course I don't even have a gun in front of me, but it does have an external ejector. That's always cool. There's no purpose for the internal ejectors. I mean, I don't know why guys are still doing that. A lot of companies are actually moving away from that anyway. So let's move on to the rest of the line. So going down and looking at the rest of the line, there's the P226 X Legion and the X Carry Legion. The X Carry is basically just going to have a shorter barrel, shorter slide. The actual frame and grip looks like it's the same. No change there. They did modernize the P226 a little bit. They kind of, in my eyes, took the 226 Legion and gave it some X5 treatment, and they kind of blended the two, and then just kind of brought the 226 into the modern age, cleaned it up a little bit. Personally, I wish they would have Did a little bit more with the trigger, as well as the slide. Again, slide is it's pretty basic, man. I mean, they didn't really add any flair to it, man. I mean, I know some people will actually appreciate that because they like the more classic look. Personally, I want to see some flair, man. I want something that stands out a little bit. Um, you got to give me a little extra, especially when you're asking for top price. But that's me personally. Overall, the gun looks good, man. I think it's clean. So, just not my particular take. I would have preferred a little bit more done with it. But like I said, overall, it looks good. And of course, it's optic ready. It is designed to run the new optic. Um, what else? Adjustable trigger. Most of that stuff's not new, though. I mean, the 226 is pretty much had that bull barrel. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, eh, let's keep moving. So we have the P365 Lux. So basically, this is an all metal version of the P365. Unfortunately, this one's going to be chambered in 380. They didn't make it 9 millimeter, which I don't know why. They didn't make it in 9 mil. But for the 380 folks out there, this is going to be for you. It's all metal version. Looks like it has some G.T.S type grips in there. It has a compensator on the front, and it has that nice glossy DOC coating on there. Um, as somebody who already owns a bunch of P365, a Spectre, Rose Comp, and the XL and some other ones, I mean this gun doesn't do anything for me. The only way I would have been interested in this gun is if it was a 9 millimeter for one, and they would have changed something with the trigger. That's one of the things that I'm looking at here. And this trigger looks like the same P365 trigger. If you're gonna, takes me back to the AXG Legion P365. Why not put a flat trigger in there? Why not give us a new trigger design? Something that stands out from the regular P365s. This trigger is the same thing. That's not what we want, man. We want a special trigger for a special gun, and I just don't think they gave us that. But overall, I think they did a good job on this gun. It looks cool. I mean, again, not for me, but you know, they make guns for everybody, not for one person or one particular type person. So the other thing they dropped is the P320 Max. And they just basically updated the Max. The Max originally dropped, I think, like 3 years ago, and that gun was more targeted towards our competition shooters. I mean, it was geared towards competition shooters. So as you could tell on the Max, both versions, one is the Max 2.0, and then the other one is the SXG, which is going to be the steel frame version. They looks like they changed the actual serrations on the slide. It still does not have any sights on it, which is one of the main things that I don't want a gun with no sights. I want sights on my gun. Yeah, optics are the wave of the future and all that stuff, but you know, optics to me is another failure point, and anytime I have something that could be a failure point, I want something to counter that. And the way that you counter a failed optic is by using the front and rear sights, which people have been using for ages, and they still work. Iron sights, man. I'm an iron sight guy. So overall, this gun is really nice. They made some, nice upgrades to it. Cleaned it up a little bit. Added some, little things to make it more grippy, make it easier to rack the slide, and all that kind of stuff. Again, this gun is not for me, but for the guys who shoot competitions, they definitely put something out for you guys. Moving on, that is all that I want to talk about. There's some other stuff down here. There are a few rifles, which I'm not going to get into. The rifles, there's some other optics that they dropped, which again I'm not going to get into. There's some cans for you suppressor nuts that want to get to more cans. They dropped some of that stuff for you guys. The last gun I'm going to talk about, though, is the P320 Reserve Collection. Now, look, I mean, Sig, this Reserve Collection is cool. They're only putting out a certain amount of these, so it is a collector's item, and that nice glossy black DLC coating, just like the P226 Reserve treatment on here, is really cool. I think it's cool. Has the flat blade trigger, which we appreciate. Always great when we get a good trigger. But I mean, I don't know if I want another P320, and it has nothing to do with the controversy around the what I'm talking about. I have my own opinions on that. I'm not gonna get into that in this video. But I love P320s. I have 2 of them. I carry one on duty for a number of years. Going back probably 6 years or so. I have one personally. I actually got one on my hip right now that I'm carrying. So I like P320s. I'm not buying into all the other stuff with everybody else. I just don't know if I want another P320. If I'm going to go reserve route and spend reserve money, and I don't know, this is probably going to be at least probably $1,000 less than the 226 version. But if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a gun, it's probably going to be the P226 reserve, or one of the X5 variants or something like that. But the gun that I'm probably going to drop my money on next, unless Sig wants to send me, one to test, I'm open to it. The P211 GTO is where I'm hanging my hat. That's what I'm interested in. That's what I want to get my hands on. That is probably going to be my next major purchase. So I'm going to cut this video off before it gets too long. I'm sure you guys have seen a bunch of this stuff, and I appreciate you guys taking some time to run over this stuff with me. Sig, I think you guys are doing a really good job with the new lineup. So, we'll see where it goes. For you guys that tune in and are still here, I appreciate you staying and listening to me rant. I will see you on the next video. I'm out.